Hey guys, welcome to another part of our vlog. We're gonna do some more hand analysis today. There's gonna be a slight of change, as one of our community members pointed out that we had our IC Miser settings a bit wrong. Well, they weren't wrong. The calculations were still correct, but we were calculating for the ICM EV. Which is basically what you do when you have, for example, like a final table situation or final two table situations where stack sizes come into play and payouts come into play, right? So naturally, when you do those kind of analysis, the ranges are going to be a bit tighter in general. So what we want to do is, as we are analyzing general situations that occur during the tournament where there's no ICM pressure yet, we want to do a cheap EV calculations, and thus the ranges are going to be a bit wider in that regard. So a bit of a mistake there. Still, the calculations are totally valid, but they are not. This calculation that we're gonna do from now onwards are gonna be more valid in terms of general situations where there's no ICM pressure yet. So I have marked 1, 2, 3, 5 hands that we're gonna go through again. I found them a bit interesting, maybe not for the exact hand width that we had, but for a situation. So we're gonna wanna see what our whole range should look like in a certain situation, and we're gonna again put it all in the Excel chart. So we're gonna have it all written down like on the paper, basically a virtual paper, right? So the best thing to do is to just start right away. This is the first hand. We have pocket jacks in the big blind. Let me just change the how do you call it? Yeah, the HUD a little bit. So we're gonna have the big blinds and the adjusted big blinds on my name also, so for us too. So we have pocket jacks, we have 24 big blinds. It's not necessarily our stack size that's going to be relevant, because it is not the effective stack size of the table. The effective one is from this guy, which is 13 big blinds. But if he folds, then it's definitely going to be a situation where there's going to be 24 big blinds effective, as everybody has a bigger stack than us. So let's see. Okay, the small guy folds. We had an open from the hijack. The cutoff 3 bets. Okay, so this is an interesting situation that I thought that I want to run through. We obviously jammed here for 24 big blinds with jacks. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer jam with pocket jacks, but I do want to know how low we should be going in this spots, right? Is like pocket deuce is also a jam, a profitable jam. Is like ace 10 suited a profitable jam, king queen suited, stuff like that, right? So what we want to do is go over those hands, those situations. We're gonna put it in the IC Miser, and we're gonna see what it says. So we're gonna paste this hand history. Sorry, we just need one copy. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so we have the situation. The hijack opens, cutoff 3 bets, and we want to see what we should shove it. For now we're just gonna leave the standard ranges that IC Miser puts for these two guys, and then we're gonna play around with those ranges a little bit. So we're gonna pretend they're a bit tighter, they're a bit wider, and see how our range changes. So for this situation, we can see that pocket jacks are a highly plus EV jam. It's gonna equate in a 9.3 cheap BB chips EV, which is gonna be fairly profitable situation. So, but I kind of figured it out. But it's interesting to see that, for example, you want to be jamming pocket 5s here and ace 10 suited and ace jack off, which is kind of the range that I would instinctively probably shove here. So I don't think it's a wrong range. I think it's actually a pretty good range. And yeah, the thing is, we're gonna take a look at the ranges later from the villains, but now we're just gonna first input this. So we have 24 big blinds, 14 big blinds adjusted. We are in the big blind. We have pocket jacks. Villain position is cut off. So hijack opens, cut off 3 bets, we shove. So well, let's see the range. Okay, the range from the villain 3 betting range here is, let's see, 17%. So well, let's input it here. So 17%. It's like deuce plus, ace 3 suited plus, ace 8 off plus, king 10 suited plus, king queen off, and queen jack suited. So this is gonna be his range, his 3 betting range that he 3 bets with, right? The best move is obviously to shove, and it is plus, what did we say? Jacks are plus 9.38 in EV. cheap big blind EV. So we're gonna mark it in green here, so we know it's a plus EV move, and our range here should be 8.4%, which basically let's put it like this, which basically means sorry, I'll just put it like something like this, so everything's gonna be visible. So our range should be 8.4%, which equates like 5s plus, ace 10 suited plus, and ace jack off plus. So this is kind of a, I think it's a pretty good range to shove here in this spot. Now what we want to consider is maybe if the villain 3 betting range were a bit tighter. I think the hijack range for opening, I mean, we can even set the hijack range for opening, but I think it's fine, something like that in general. Some people are going to be a bit wider, some people are going to be a bit tighter. But let's see his 3-betting range here. Let's say, well, he does cover him. It's still 35 big blinds deep here. So I think, like, if we go something like, if he doesn't want to call like 8, like if you want to 3-bet them for value, let's say something like let's first construct a value 3-bet range, something like this, I guess. Then we're gonna have to add some bluff like ace jack off, some small suited aces, maybe 9-8, 8-7 off, something like this. So this is gonna be a 10% range. It's a bit of a tighter range, apart from that 17% range. So let's see if jacks are still a profitable shove, and as you can see they are. But it does change, like it does put the ladder a bit up in terms of pocket pairs. Now we want to be shoving 8s plus in this spot and no longer 5s plus. So this is interesting thing to note. So if his range is, what would you say, 10%, right? So it's gonna be we don't even need to write his range, to be honest. Here it's just gonna be too much of a work. So 10%, it's still a shove. It is still 5.91 cheap big blind EV, and our shoving range should be 6.5% here. So we said 8s plus, ace 10 suited plus, ace queen off plus, and king queen suited. So it does change our range a little bit, but it tightens it up a little bit. But in general, jacks are gonna still gonna be plus EV shove here, which is something that I kind of expected, right? So yeah, let's go to the next hand. Let's see the next hand. The next hand is pocket nines. This is a bit deeper in the tournament. We could even use probably, like, if this was like last 2 tables or something like that, we could use the ICM EV calculations. But we're just gonna treat it as a standard spot here. So the cutoff opens a bit more than 2x. He folds. We decide to shove for 25 big blinds. And this guy overcalls. This doesn't really matter if he overcalls. The question is our shove plus EV here? And from what I think, like, pocket 9 should be a fairly plus EV shove. We don't want a flat here. We're out of position. This guy's opening a lot. He's folding 83% to 3-bet. But in general, like, cutoff's gonna have a wide range here, around 30%, 35%, and 9s are gonna do very well versus that range in general. So let's pace this hand and let's see. So he, like, the IC Miser puts him with 36%. We can narrow that down a little bit later on, but let's see what the IC Miser says. So yeah, it's gonna be hugely plus EV shove here. So we're gonna leave it with this general stats, and then we're gonna adjust a little bit. So the effective stack, again, we're gonna change it a bit. It's 25 big blinds, 17 adjusted. We are in the small blind. We have 9s. Villain position is cutoff. So cutoff opens, we shove. His range is 36%, which is pretty standard, I think, for him in the cutoff. Something like that should be standard, and the correct move is to shove. And it is plus 3.76 big blind cheap EV. And our shoving range should be 27% here, which is quite wide, right? So 27%, it's gonna be deuce plus, ace 3 suited plus, ace 9 off plus, king 5 suited plus, king 10 off plus, queen 6 suited plus, queen 10 off plus, jack 7 suited plus. I'm just gonna move this here so it's a bit easier. Jack 7, jack 10 off, 10 7 suited plus, 9 7 suited plus, 8 6 suited plus, and 6 7 suited. So this is our shoving range that should be profitable in this situation, expecting he opens 36% and later on calls about 6% of those hands. So as we can see, he's pretty wide, so I would not change this. I might want to change how wide he's calling with. But then again, is he is he calling ace jack off? He's folding a lot, so I don't think so. I think this is actually pretty cool. I think this range is pretty cool. Maybe we can try tightening his opening range a bit and see if this changes anything. Again, I don't even want to tighten it a bit too much, but let's say some people are gonna be a bit nitty in opening from the cutoff. So sorry about that. Let's say we put it something like this. Maybe not all aces, maybe like ace 5 and about like some 26% and still the same calling range. Let's see how our calling range, our shoving range here changes. Okay, so it does actually narrow our range quite a lot. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense because he's opening way less shitty hands, right? So, this is something that we want to put in. So, if he is opening 27%, calling off the same, which is 5.9%. We should still shove. It's still plus EV shove, right? Pocket nines 3.65. Like the nines do pretty similar versus that range, right? But our overall range should tighten quite a lot in contrast to the previous range. So it's more like pocket fours and above, and then suited broadways and ace 10 off plus, and I think that's fine. We are like, as I said, we are 25 big blinds deep, so we are not like super shallow yet. Again, if we would change our stack size here, you can see like if we put it like we have 25 big blinds. Let's say we put it 1 2 0 0 0 something like this. So we have 15 big blinds. I think this is gonna change our shoving range tremendously here. So you can see if we only have 15 big blinds here, we can be shoving way wider here. Obviously some of those shoves are like marginally plus EV, but we should definitely consider shoving more suited aces, like ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited, obviously king queen suited, obviously pocket pairs, even 6s, 5s and 4s are quite plus EV. So the depth of your stack size is going to affect your shoving range tremendously here, and because we have 25 big blinds, our shoving range is tighter. So we can put it down. So if hero has 15 BBs, it's a shove. 3.38, pretty much the same, and we should be shoving 45.1% of the hands. I'm not gonna write everything down, but I just want to have an idea how wider, and you can see that the ranges are gonna change tremendously here. So yeah, and this is like versus Villain's 27% open, right? So Villain 27% open raise, not his initial 36. So yeah. I think this is kind of like, these are all interesting observations, if you ask me. So I think this is pretty cool to realize those facts, right? And how ranges change given our stack size, and even how ranges change when you decrease his opening range here for like 30% or so, right? So let's go to the next hand. We have 3 more hands. Ace jack suited. Let's see what happened here. We opened. Here is a situation where we've opened. We started with an open. We got a call from the button. He seems pretty active. He's not 3-betting a lot, but he seems to be quite happy to get in the pot, so we're pretty happy when he calls. But we do get a shove from the small blind. So let's put in the situation. The effective stack size is 19 big blinds because he has 19 big blinds, the guy who's shoving. 13 adjusted. We're in the cutoff. We have ace jack suited. He's in the small blind. So we open, button calls, small blind shoves. He has 13 big blinds adjusted. Let's see what Icy Miser puts in as standard ranges, and then we're gonna go from there. We're gonna paste the hand. So it says here he's shoving about 18%. We're gonna put that in, and then we're gonna later look if we want to narrow that range or widen that range. So as you can see, the correct play with ace jack suited is shove. It's quite deep, quite plus EV, so it's a pretty good spot for us. But you can see that we should only be shoving 8% of hands here. So it's gonna be sixes plus, ace 10 suited plus, ace jack off plus. So it's still a pretty narrow range, right? But ace jack suited is definitely within that range. So what is he shoving here? Let's see. For 13 big blinds adjusted, 19 effective, all pocket pairs, ace 8 off. Okay, let's try to tighten his range up. Like, I don't want to widen it because like we have ace jack suited. It's like we can see that it's already a call now. If we widen his range, and it's an easier call. So we want to tighten it a bit. Let's say he's gonna like shove sixes and above, maybe like ace 8 suited, king jack suited, king queen off, and maybe like ace 10 off and above, something like this. So this is gonna be an 11% range. Let's see if it's still a plus EV shove for us here, or call. And you can see that ace jack suited becomes a slightly minus cheap EV call here. And all the other hands are still, all the other hands that we want to call with are still highly plus EV. So this is a good thing to note. So if villain 3-bet shoves 11%, we should fold minus 0.10. And we should be calling with 5.1%, which is 9s plus and ace queen plus. So this is kind of an interesting observation. For example, like if we have ace queen suited, it's called in both situations, regardless of his range there. Even if it's like 18% or 11%, we should be calling ace queen suited. Nines are also always a call, right? We said you want to call here with sixes and above, and now we want to call with nines and above. So we do want to tighten our range here a bit. So that's cool to know. But in general, like our ace jack was a correct call here. I can show you what happened in those situations. It's not really relevant. He showed up with queen 10 suited. So let's see if we actually put queen 10. We actually haven't put queen 10 suited here. So if he has queen 10 suited, he definitely has king 10 suited, maybe king jack off. So I think the former range of 18% is gonna be way more probable for him. So in terms of that, we can easily see that our ace jack suited was a correct call here. So yeah, let's go to the next hand. 2 more hands left. So now we have, sorry, king queen of clubs. Let's take a look at this hand. So we're in the big blind now. So we get an open shove for 5 big blind and a reshove, because this is a bounty tournament, right? So the stacks are good, like they're gonna go for bounties a bit wider, people, and this guy is pretty aggressive over 19 hands. Like in a normal tournament, I think this is a pretty standard fold. I think his range is gonna be fairly strong, but in the bounty tournament, like this is why I marked the hand. I knew it was a bounty tournament, so I figured his range is gonna be a bit wider. Like Icy Miser doesn't take that into the consideration, so it's gonna be interesting to see what Icy Miser says about this hand. In general, without bounty consideration, and then we're gonna play around with ranges a little bit, considering that they might be shoving a bit wider. So let's see what bounty Icy Miser says here. In general, you can see that we should be shoving quite tight or reshoving quite tight, and this is what I figured, right? I might even go tighter than 7s and 6s, maybe 8s plus and ace queen, something like that. So this is good to know. We're gonna put in the numbers. So we have 17 big blinds adjusted, 28 and 17, right? Because this is our state. 28 big blinds, 17 adjusted. We are in the big blind. We have king queen suited. This is MP plus button, so MP shoves 8BB, button min 3 bets, we shove. So it says here that the villain range is going to be 13%. Both 13%, min 3 bet. We should fold, and it's minus 1.6465. Doesn't matter really, and we should be calling with 6.8%, which equates 6s plus, ace jack suited plus, ace queen off plus, right? So let's take a look at what he had. So first of all, like, so we can see if he had like a really random hand, then we can maybe, based on that random hand, we can decide whether we want to widen his range because of that, right? So let's take a look what's gonna be said here. Just 1 second. Let's see what he had. He had ace queen suited. So actually he had a pretty strong hand there, right? So that's nothing to consider. So here it said that he's gonna be min triading like this. Well, the thing is, it's a bounty tournament, so he might not go that much wider, but let's try to widen his range a little bit. Let's say he's gonna be ISO 3 betting here with all suited aces, queen jack suited, king jack off, maybe all pocket pairs, Jack 10 suited, something like that. So we don't want to go way wider than before. So 17%. Let's see if he's doing with 17%. Then we can see that our jam is gonna be profitable here. So if button how much ISO 3 bets 17%, we should shove. This is a good thing to note. And it's gonna be quite plus EV now. So, and we should be shoving 12.5%, which is gonna be force plus, ace 9 suited plus, ace 10 off plus, king 10 suited plus, king queen off, and queen 10 suited plus. So as you can see, if he is shoving or isolating a little bit wider here, then king queen suited becomes a profitable shove. But in general, if it's a general situation with a normal tournament, I think we should be folding king queen suited in this spot. So this is still, again, a good lesson to learn. And it also depends on the bounties, right? We don't cover this guy who ISO 3 bets, but we do cover the small guy, the guy who shoves for 8 big blinds. We do cover him for the bounty. So if he had a huge bounty, it's gonna be even like more plus EV to shove king queen suited there. So another good thing to note. And let's go to our final situation for today's vlog. So again, we have king queen suited. This time we're in the small blind. So similar hand, a bit of a different situation. We get a 3x open from the UTG. We have 16 big blinds. We get an overcall from the cutoff, and we decide to shove. This is a very, very interesting situation. My gut feeling when I'm looking at this hand tells me we should fold king queen suited here, because he opens for 3x. He's under the gun. But on the other hand, we only have 16 big blinds, so it's gonna be interesting what Icy Miser is gonna tell us to do here. So let's put it in here first. So 16 big blinds, we're in the small blind, king queen suited. It's UTG plus cutoff. UTG opens, cutoff calls, we shove. His open range, let's see what, let's put this hand into the Icy Miser and see what he puts in as ranges, and we're gonna go with the ranges to begin with. So he decides that he's opening, so UTG opens 26%. I think the cutoff is kind of irrelevant here. Like, I mean, if he had a really strong hand, he would have 3-bet himself. So I think he's gonna have a lot of hands like ace 10 suited, queen jack suited, jack 10 suited, small pocket pairs. So versus that, we're doing quite fine, I feel. And yeah, we're not gonna assume he's trapping or something similar. So let's see what happens here with these ranges that we put. So in considering this is still gonna be a plus EV shove. I'm marginally plus EV, but still plus EV, which is good to know, right? So it says that we should shove. It's 0.39. This is really marginally plus EV with king queen suited. So force plus, and fours are like a break even shove, as you can see. Ace 10 suited plus ace jack off plus king queen suited. So this is good to know, that we could be shoving this marginally profitably, but still. But let's take a look at his range, for example. We don't know anything about him in terms of his stats. Let's say he's opening a bit tighter from the UTG, right? He's in the UTG after all, so let's give him a bit of like a standard opening range, something like 17-18%. This is gonna be fine. Let's see what cutoff is overcalling. I think this is fine. I don't think he's overcalling aces, kings, queens, because I think he would 3-bet them. So I'm gonna put this out. Maybe putting queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, jack 10 suited, king jack off, something like this. And now let's see. We're gonna like the UTG calling range. Let's see, is gonna be 7.5%, which is gonna be sevens. I think he's gonna call sevens, ace 10 suited, ace jack off. I think this maybe like eights, ace jack suited, ace queen, maybe something like this. And the cutoff call should be, let's see. Yeah, not gonna call all pocket pairs. I think he's gonna call sevens, eights, nines, tens, jacks. He's not gonna call those here, or maybe ace 9 suited, something like this. So let's see. And yeah, okay, if we put this, then it's gonna be a plus EV shove for most of the suited connectors. This is because we put like UTG on a really tight range, and we also put both of these guys on a really tight calling range. Let's see if their calling range remains the same. I want to see that. So we said that maybe let's say he's opening. Oh, sorry, damn it, I'm adjusting the wrong. This one, 26%. Why is he not? shown to be opening this one. He's opening this, yeah, okay. So let's say he's opening something like this. Maybe ace 9 and above here, something like ace 10 and above, something like this, like 17%. Let's see what it says then. Yeah, then it's still gonna be a plus EV shove, even a bit more. And King Jack suited is also now gonna be a marginal plus EV shove. So let's say UTG opens 17%. So he's opening a tighter range. But he's still calling the same range, so we should be shoving 9.8. It does, like, our range doesn't change all that much, to be honest. 9 suited plus, ace 10 off plus, king jack suited plus. So yeah, but I think this is a pretty, like, I don't want to be shoving way too wider in this spot unless we have some stats on people, right? So I think this is a fine range to use in this spots. Both are in green, so I guess our shove was correct. Again, it's a marginal shove in the first situation, as told by the IC-mizer. I do agree, it wasn't like a no-brainer shove there. But what do you guys think? Like, do you think it's an easy shove? Do you think these ranges are too tight? Let me know what you feel about this hand, and basically all the hands that we went through. We had some hands now. Let's see. We had, I think we did 5 hands. Yeah, jacks, nines, ace jack suited, king queen suited twice. And I think the results are quite interesting. And yeah, this is gonna be it, guys, for this vlog. We've been going on for 25 minutes, which is quite, like, just about the right size of a vlog, I think, in terms of a study session. I'm gonna be back soon with a new one. We're probably gonna make up some situation and do those, or maybe go over some interesting hands again, as we did today. And yeah, until then, just have fun, good luck at the tables, and see you later. Bye bye.